Last night I decided I was going to get off trail and head back to Australia. But today I've woken up to a totally different outlook. I'm going to carry on hiking. There are a number of factors that swayed me, but the main ones were the following. I can't get back to Paulies in Canada as the border is now closed and my return ticket leaves from there. If I go back to Sydney, there's no easy place to quarantine. I've already mailed out resupply boxes to places ahead, so I have minimal contact with people and places going forward. And lastly, the beautiful Gila River alternate is just ahead, so I decide to hike on. Unexpectedly, I run into Chip Crusher. Believe it or not, he is staying at the same hotel as me. He plans to go to Walmart and then check out and head off. I was originally going to stay another night and head out with fellow hikers Robert and Karen the next morning, but rather than hang around, I figure it is better to get moving and get back out there. This suits me perfectly, and he is happy for me to join him on the next section, so off I race to hurriedly pack. Here we are at drive-through at Don Juan Burritos. Here's Chip Crusher. We're about to head out of Silver City, and we're getting a couple of burritos to go. That's exactly right. We're through in the drive-through, which is really funny. There's another UPS truck about to come around behind us. Hopefully we won't get run over. The highway still walking out of Walnut Creek.
Got Damien over here recording.
Got Chip Crusher over here recording me. And we are still about another mile and a half to the trailhead. We're on the Walnut Creek alternate at the minute. This is Gomez Peak picnic site. Stopped here for lunch. Having our Don Juan's burrito. Under the nice little picnic area. We're leaving the Gomez Peak picnic area and rather walk up the Walnut Creek alternate, which has basically just been a road up out of Silver City. There's a little trail I've found with Chip Crusher that sort of runs parallel with the road, so we've swapped over onto this. The CDT official route from Silver City comes from that direction, and as I swing around here, if we keep heading down this road, which is where we are going to go, that's the Gila River alternate route. You might have heard a gunshot there in the background. And then the official CDT route up into the Black Mountains go that way. And if I do swing right around to where I've come from, that is the Walnut Creek alternate route which we've just come from. How's this? We're just walking down into the Gila River, and out of nowhere there's this random bull all by himself. This is our campsite for tonight. It's right on Bear Creek. We've done the hike from Silver City down into the Gila National Forest. This is Bear Creek heading towards the Gila River. This is Bear Creek, and this is where I got my first naturally sourced water from. It's day 13 now, and up until now I managed to get it either out of water caches, fill-ups when I've been in towns, and at Burrow Mountain Homestead I got some which I think is drawn from a well. But up till now I've been carrying all the water I need, but tomorrow will be the first day of naturally sourced water. And if I look back, we'll go back towards our campsite. You might see it up there. It's our fourth river crossing here in the last 100 metres. I've dipped my toes in already. Here's Chip Crusher showing us how to do it. Ah, oh, too easy.
It looks worse than it is.
Too easy. It was not a fun night last night, and not just because of the cold, but because I woke up again bouncing on the ground. I thought I'd fix my slow leaking sleeping pad, but evidently not. I'll have to try again today somehow. To make matters worse, I went to sleep in the rain with one storm door open to try and avoid the condensation building up. But unfortunately the wind started to blow the rain in, and so when I woke up, I also had a little swimming pool at the bottom of my tent. I figured it can't get any worse, so I puffed a few more breaths into the pad and rolled over and went back to sleep-ish. I'll worry about it in the morning, I thought. Chip Crusher and I head off about 7:15 a.m, but we only manage about 6.5 kilometres or 4 miles-ish in the first 2 hours. Firstly, we had to navigate 6 crossings of Bear Creek, so that took a bit of time trying to find the safest and driest way across. But of course on creek crossing number 4, guess who slips their feet in? Typical. Oh well, marching on with soggy socks and shoes now. These rock formations out here, they're incredible. Here we are. Come up to the registry. Just walked up the most beautiful little canyon. The trail's covered by, I think they're oak tree leaves. Just beautiful. Little creek running down, lots of little waterfalls along the way. Sun beaming through the trees, glistening off the rocks and the water. It's incredible. Oh, excuse the huffing and puffing. But we've come straight up this hill out of that little canyon. But how good's the view? The terrain on the CDT is ever changing. After following that beautiful creek up that small canyon, With the sun beaming through the trees, it's a spectacular sight to behold. But no sooner are we thrust into the brutal reality with a climb that heads straight up and over Tadpole Ridge. It is super steep. You can barely put one foot in front of the other. It's slippery and it's hard to get a certain foothold. It must be absolutely treacherous to come down. So just looking out here, down here these are the rock formations that we were looking at yesterday afternoon, and we've come over around this ridge. That's where we camped last night. So we've followed that canyon up there, and then we've cut across onto this peak, and we're coming up that pathway. Not sure how well you can make out those snowy peaks in the distance, but as Chip Crusher just said, I guess where I'm headed that way eventually. There's quite a few fallen pine trees in this forest, and it makes you think twice to be careful about where you set up your tent at night. Alright, we've come over Tadpole Ridge and come across this little ranch setup. Over Tadpole Ridge, and it's a different world down the other side. Away from the sun, the temperature drops considerably, and even though it's 1:30 in the afternoon, it's now only 8 degrees Celsius or 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ground below my feet crackles as I tread across the frozen gravel. This is creek crossing number 24 for the day. We're just crisscrossing backwards and forwards along this little creek. So the road has turned sharply downhill now as we head down to the Gila River, and you'll see it's quite muddy, rocky, bouldery. Be pretty difficult even for a ATV to try and get up this. So you can see we've dipped below the ridge line now. So it's been a long walk down. Been going descending probably for 2 hours, maybe more. But we're heading down there to the Gila River, not too far away. Now in the distance is the Gila River. This is Sapilo Creek, and this is my first creek crossing, shoes and all. I actually crossed the Sapilo Creek a little bit earlier. No, my pants are falling down. Alright, take two. Got halfway across, my pants started to, not my whole pants, just from the knees down, the legs started to slip down in the water. It's getting late at night, so I didn't want to get too wet before I set up camp. But hopefully there's enough sun to, well, it doesn't really matter. tomorrow I'm gonna head back into the creek first thing, so I guess it is what it is. Anyway, here we go again. This one's running a bit faster here. It's very chilly, icy even, not terrible. Oh, that's cold, Chris. Camp set up for the night. We're at the head of the Gila River, just before it runs into the Gila River. And over here, even though we're shooting back into the sun, is chip crusher attempting to light a fire. This, folks, is what you wear when you don't have a pair of camp shoes and you just walk through a river and your feet are soaking wet. Put your nice dry socks on, a couple of Walmart bags on next, then back into the wet feet. And if we look up here, we'll look at the raging fire that Chip Crusher's got going. Look at this, like it's not a total fire ban. So we're at camp tonight, and I thought I'd just quickly talk about my new water filter system. This is called a soya squeeze, and funnily enough, it's the first time I've had to use it. Up until now, I've been able to get by on water through water caches or water that I've carried out from town, and this is just water straight out of the Sapillo Creek, and it actually tastes pretty good. When we got to the Gila River, the first thing on our minds was to check the flow rate. Is it going to be passable? And clearly it was not. This is the danger of starting the CDT too early as I have. There is too much snowmelt flowing into the Gila, and it's a raging torrent that is too deep and flowing way too fast for us to cross. So we camped on this isthmus between the Gila and the Sapillo Creek, and we'll see if it's any better tomorrow. Our hopes of the Gila River flowing a little more accessibly in the morning is dashed as the river is no different from last night. It is clearly not safe to cross, so we decided to take an alternate route, the Sapillo Creek route. This follows high up on Snow Canyon Wall. 0 degrees out. The water's probably not much water. And this is our 5th crossing for the morning. So we've just climbed up steeply out of Sapillo Creek. And we are going further higher still. So we finally found the trail after an hour and a bit climbing way uphill, and you can see we're looking down into the canyon now. That's the Sapillo Creek down there, so we're just going to sort of follow high up on the canyon and try and get to Doc Campbell's from here. How's this for a view? So we camped last night at Sapillo Creek because the Gila River was impassable. We were hoping this morning, the river levels would have gone down and we would have been able to get across, but alas, it was not the case. So we've taken the Sapillo Creek route, which crossed to the north side of Sapillo Creek, a few creek crossings, and then we had to take a sharp turn uphill. That was the most difficult thing because we couldn't find the trail, so it was really just going straight up this rocky cliff face. Not to be too melodramatic, there were times I thought, geez, if I slip and fall here, this could be no good. But anyway, we eventually made it to the top and found the trail. If I show you behind me, so we're sort of following along high on the canyon walls now, and really just going from sort of hillside to hillside, crossing gullies and ravines to get to the next one, and just keep following it around the Spillo Creek. So what else can I tell you? So this morning it was 0 degrees, which is cold, and it was cold crossing the creeks, but not disastrous. My feet are still wet an hour and a bit later, but it's not an issue really. So I'll get to lunchtime and hopefully maybe try and dry my shoes out and put some dry socks on. This is the view as we cross one gully, and then we head up sharply onto that next hillside. All right, this is looking back to where we just come from. So we've just come over the other side of that little ridge line there, and the trail's wound down this way. And we sort of come across this little gully and then come back up the trail this way. It just got me thinking, Chip Crusher was saying when we were climbing up that mountainside, this sucks. And it was really difficult because we were only going one step at a time, maybe a kilometre per hour. And we eventually found the trail, because just before that we thought maybe it's easy just to go back down into the creek bed and just follow it up. Would have been much easier. But now we've found the trail, thank God, we're making a bit better time. So my first major paw print I've noticed. Alright, so here's some more cat footprints, just for scale. That's a big mini lighter. There's another one there. So I assume it's either a bobcat or a mountain lion. Interesting to know. How's this for beautiful, crystal clear little mountain creek? Just filled up my water bottle. Continuing on. The water does not look as inviting over there. Bit of a murkier colour. Alright, we got Tarzan Chip Crusher here creating a little bridge. Go to it. Oh yes! It worked! Now all we have to do is get across. Alright, here he goes. Tokyo Olympics have been postponed. Got Chip Crusher on the balance beam, nonetheless. Oh, look at that style. Oh, look at that. He's done it. That's a 9.8. Made it out of the creek. Now it's the roadwalk into Doc Campbell's. So we're going for 6 hours, 46 minutes up till now. It's a very difficult walk out of there, very steep, up and down. Last little section involved about 8 crossings of the creek. The first few we tried to build bridges and succeeded. In the end, we're trying to build a rock bridge Just when I thought it was alright, I climbed in, middle rock moved, I slid off, and then it was game over. So the last 4, we just trudged on through the water. So walking along the road now with wet feet. But it's all part of the experience. We tried and failed in the bridge building. In the end, we should have just walked through them all. But you don't know. That was a good experience. Alright, so we're up on the road now. The sign says Doc Campbell's Post, Gila Hot Springs Ranch, only 14 miles. I don't think we're going to get there today. Okay, so this is Copperas Creek down the bottom there, Copperas Creek Lookout. Still about 8 miles, I think 8 miles, out of Doc Campbell's, so I'm going to camp here tonight. I'm on Highway 15 and this takes us directly to Doc Campbell's Post. It's late in the day and I decide I'm not going to push to get there tonight, so I'll keep hiking along until a campsite turns up. Eventually one does at the Senator Clinton P. Anderson Wilderness Lookout. It's about 7 p.m. now, so time to call it a day. There is an amazing view out over Copperas Creek Volcano. The only problem is I'm out of water and I'm a bit thirsty, but I'll just have to make do until tomorrow. So I stayed the night last night at Senator Clinton P. Anderson Wilderness Overlook, and it was cold last night, -4 Celsius. First time I felt my feet being cold in the sleeping bag, but the night was relatively calm, didn't rain or anything like that, so that was okay. How's this for a lookout? So, still got an 8-mile walk into Doc Campbell's now. My tracker's run out of battery and I can't find a little charging adapter for it. So hopefully I'll be able to sort that out in at Doc Campbell's. Anyway, we'll continue uphill and I'll talk to you there. While it was cold through the night, my sleeping pad is still leaking, so that's not helping. I just can't seem to get on top of it. I thought I'd fixed all the punctures, but clearly not. My body heat escapes straight into the ground, or the ground comes straight up into me. So hopefully when I get to Doc Campbell's, I can get that finally sorted. I arrived at Doc Campbell's about 9:30 a.m, only to find the store doesn't open until noon. Not to worry, it gives me time to take a break and enjoy a lean against the back of a rock and enjoy the sun. Noon comes and I'm greeted by Mike Lopez, who runs the store with his wife Christy. Christy's grandfather was Doc Campbell. Mike couldn't be nicer and lets me get my tent set up in the garden area and organises a towel and some coins for my laundry. The rest of the day is used sorting out my resupply box, which I had mailed there ahead of time while I was in Tucson, Arizona. I've mailed way too much, but Chip Crusher will be able to use some, and what is left I'll donate to the hiker box. For the uninitiated, a hiker box is a box at known hiking points where people offload things they don't need or don't want to carry anymore. The next hikers that come along are free to take whatever they like or can use from the box.